Minutes of fast-flowing, scintillating and sporting football, thoroughly appreciated by 51,000 people and your commentator, John Motson.
Well, you'd think Liverpool supporters have seen just about everything by now, but that doesn't detract from the exuberance of a semi-final occasion for them, especially as they know their club could be on the verge of breaking yet more new ground. Could they become the first club to win the double twice? But at the other end of the ground, the Hillsborough clock taken over today by the followers of Nottingham Forest, giving a tumultuous welcome to a team, most of whom were in the cradle when Forest played their last FA Cup semi-final in 1967 on this ground. It's been a long wait, but already Forest have the edge on Liverpool today in one respect. They have more fans here, having been allocated 29,000 tickets to Liverpool's 24,000. Well, the fans have just heard the team news, and it shows that Liverpool feel the side that drew with Manchester United on Monday. Number 7 Peter Beardsley and number 9 Ray Houghton will be going at Forest from the start this time, unlike last week in the league when both began as substitutes. Today on the bench Liverpool have Craig Johnston and Jan Molby. Forest are back to full strength with number 4 Des Walker and number 11 Brian Rice both recovered. With an average age of under 23, this is one of the youngest semi-final teams in history. Goalkeeper Steve Sutton, 27 next Saturday, is the oldest, and number 6 Terry Wilson is the baby of the side at just 19. The Clough connection. Young Nigel, 22, has just been voted the Barclays Young Eagle of the Month for the second time, and what a day for his father. Can he reach Wembley in an FA Cup final for the first time in over 30 years as player and manager? Kenny Dalglish, very much the player-manager 2 years ago when they won the double. Today he leaves himself out of the 13. The referee, fresh from the Bernabeu Stadium on Wednesday, George Courtney of Spennymoor. You could build this, the team of today against the team of tomorrow. The Liverpool side packed with glittering proven talent, starting favourites against Forest in white, a team of abundant potential. Aldridge for Liverpool. No Forest player on the pitch there has appeared in an FA Cup semi-final before. Wilkinson, free kick given against him for the challenge. Liverpool, by the way, yet to concede a goal in the FA Cup this season. Came off Webb and away by Walker. Wilkinson. Oh, what a good-looking ball by Clough to Crosby, and Gary Ablett pushes him down, and George Courtney is not going to stand for that. He's gone straight to his pocket for the yellow card. An early booking here, only the 8th caution that Liverpool as a team have received this season, which is some record in their favour, but Ablett impeded Crosby, who frankly got inside him. Foster is forward, number 5, supporting Wilkinson in the middle. Pearce. Chettle. This time it's Barnes with Crosby. Spatman. Webb looks for Clough. Wilkinson. It got trapped under the feet there of Paul Wilkinson. It's a good move. Well, one or two people said, would Forest freeze? For the moment it's Aldridge for Liverpool. And no sign in the opening minutes of Forest being overwhelmed by the occasion. Offside just, Crosby. Delightful ball by Nigel Clough in that last attack. Here's Hansen. McMahon. Barnes. And here's Houghton and Barnes. They're appealing Liverpool. They think that struck a Forest player, but it was a lovely 1-2. John Barnes started the move, combined with Ray Houghton, and he tried to finish it with a little curler. One or two shots from Liverpool players, possibly, hopefully, for hands. It's Gillespie's header. Beardsley, McMahon. Good play by Liverpool. Barnes is on the left wing, running past Chettle now. Well found by McMahon. Aldridge is in the centre. Still Barnes. Penalty! Penalty to Liverpool. Chettle was beaten by Barnes' run, and as he came in behind him, Barnes went down, and Liverpool have a penalty kick. Barnes broke clear from a lovely pass by McMahon. Chettle comes in behind him. Does he catch him there? It would seem that he did. And George Courtney pointing to the spot. And it's down now to John Aldridge, who scores! Liverpool take the lead in the 13th minute. Unlucky for Forest, but Aldridge scores there his first FA Cup goal for Liverpool, even though it's his 24th of the season and his 11th from the penalty spot. And as you see it again, he took one against Sutton last week in the league, and he put it in exactly the same place. Aldridge not hanging around there, he went for the same side of the goal as last week. So, the side pursuing the double have struck first against the young pretenders. Kenny Dalglish then off to a flying start here. Well, whether it's in the Bernabeu Stadium as it was on Wednesday or at Hillsborough on semi-final day, George Courtney not afraid to point to the penalty spot for an offence like that. Spackman through for Liverpool, goalkeeper out, and Steve Sutton did enough. It's a goal kick because the ball came off Spackman last. Barnes made that possible again. He threaded the ball through, and the midfield player running onto it, Nigel Spackman, doesn't often find himself in that sort of position. The goalkeeper made his impact by coming out at the right moment and forced the eventual ricochet to go wide. There's no doubt where Liverpool feel they can win this. John Barnes has made 3 or 4 telling breaks down their left-hand side. Clough. Pearce. Oh, well played by Pearce. Clough waits, driven off Hansen. Half away by Spackman, only as far as Rice. And Wilkinson's in there with the header on. Couldn't quite find Webb. And Forest bring both fullbacks into attack. That was Chettle. And Beardsley looking for Aldridge. A lovely flow to the match. Alan Hansen, an excellent interception. Houghton has got Beardsley unmarked on the left wing, but he goes for Hansen, who's made the run forward. Aldridge in the centre. Beardsley coming in from the far side. And Hansen's floater, perhaps more of a defender's cross. But just a moment earlier, Nottingham Forest were in a good advanced position, and it was all down to Stuart Pearce, the captain, who got into a nice area of the field by the goal line. Ablett. Beardsley, McMahon. Ablett continued his run, it's McMahon again. Free kick, Terry Wilson. About 25 yards out. Aldridge runs across, Gillespie goes with him. It's left Nicol clear. Well played, Steve Nicol. Beardsley. Good effort, fine save. A memorable piece of football in the heat of the semi-final action. Peter Beardsley, but here's Barnes on the far side, that's a goal kick. Peter Beardsley showing such an instinct there as to what was on. Steve Nicol was left free by the rehearsed free kick. It came to Beardsley, and he was so fast to get his shot in, not much backlift, and Sutton knew where it was going. That was Wilkinson. Well, he looks happy enough. And I suppose coming up to half-time, the semi-final looks very much as though Liverpool are exerting their experience, whereas Brian Clough's young team have got to be commended for not folding. They've kept playing their football. And I think he'll be pleased too with a couple of saves by Steve Sutton. Liverpool supporters ending the first half on a joyful note. But there's been plenty to admire from both teams. John Aldridge's penalty, the only goal. He was one of 3 players booked, but Liverpool attacking with economy, Nottingham Forest attacking on a broad front, but it was that run by John Barnes that really made the difference between the two teams in the first half. Just following on the point about Brian Clough's youth policy, Forest have already knocked Liverpool out of the FA Youth Cup this season to reach the semi-finals. But today in the FA Cup semi-final, the senior side, inexperienced compared to their opponents, trail by 1-0. But they start the second half with a free kick. Foster has gone forward. Here's Chettle. And sliced somewhat by Gary Ablett. Wilkinson's in there with Foster. Wilkinson's for Clough! Oh, so close for Nigel Clough. Forest within inches of equalising at the start of the second half. Wilkinson made it possible with the flick on, and Nigel Clough certainly got amongst it there, ahead of the red shirts. Warning for Bruce Grobbelaar and Liverpool. Beardsley. Foster. Wilkinson running on, Steve Nichol's got to go with him, and he's knocked him over. Free kick. George Courtney coming up behind them, had no doubts. Houghton prevents them from taking it quickly. Foster's in there again. It's Rice to take it. Foster! They appealed at the linesman, the Forest players. They thought there was some impeding in there, but Bruce Grobbelaar stood where he was and caught the ball. Well, Liverpool calling on all their hardened experience as Forest start the second half in the ascendancy, but this is what happened before. Barnes, Aldridge is there, Aldridge! And exactly the same again. Liverpool come out of defence and snatch a vital goal. And again, Barnes involved, and what a volley from Aldridge. 52 minutes, Steve Sutton beaten by a decisive finish. and Barnes combines with Beardsley. What quality there between the two England players, and look at this for the volley. One of the best goals you'll see this season, and it comes in the midst of a hectic semi-final, and it puts Liverpool 2-0 up and surely pushes them a little bit nearer to Wembley, and indeed perhaps to the double, who knows. Rice for Forest. Well, Liverpool masters at knowing when to strike and how to strike, and Kenny Dalglish will have enjoyed that goal amidst all the tension of this occasion. This was a classic goal. John Barnes and Peter Beardsley combining together. Barnes knew where Aldridge was, and just look at the way he put that away. So for John Aldridge now, 25 goals this season. Here's Hansen. Oh, look at Barnes. Walker will have to be quick here. Barnes is in, and Beardsley's in, and good save Sutton, otherwise it was 3-0 and all over. But they just can't contain John Barnes, and Beardsley linking with him so intelligently. In fact, that's going to be a goal kick. But Barnes' form this afternoon, a testament to the extra dimension he's brought to the Liverpool team this season. Webb. Clough. And Webb again. Came off Ablett. And Gillespie away from Wilson. Not decisively so, this is Crosby. Out of play, throw into Forest. Wilkinson and Foster facing the thrower. Wilkinson! Oh, Hansen didn't get there! And it's gone in! Nigel Clough pouncing where it mattered, and the ball forced over the line after 68 minutes. The long throw, knocked on by Wilkinson. A real mess there with Hansen. Nigel Clough got his foot in behind the number 6 and pulls Forest back into the game. 2-1, and by no means over. Beardsley. And still. Well, what a fluctuating semi-final. Beardsley. And still. Well played by him. And Barnes. And over. Well, Nottingham Forest may have looked to be out of it at 2-0 down, but just when they needed it, look at this. Wilkinson flicks it on, it goes beyond Gravelar, and the foot from Clough comes in behind Hansen. Well, his team have proved that they've got character as well as skill. Here's Spackman. Aldridge. And now Webb. To Wilson. Nigel Clough. Oh, what a match he's had. Crosby. Webb's in the middle, so is Wilkinson. Still Crosby. Oh, and still. And Clough's in there again, and so is Chettle. Well, high drama. And at the heart of the action, little Gary Crosby. And also Nigel Clough, who seems to have taken a bang on the head. Well, it's taken Brian Clough over 30 years to reach an FA Cup semi-final in his professional career. He's certainly part of a memorable occasion, whatever the final score. And Liverpool, who've been part of so many, find themselves 2-1 up, but with no reason whatsoever to feel complacent. 10 minutes to go. If it stays like this, Liverpool are through to Wembley. But if Forest can score again, we could be on for extra time. Beardsley, onside, Ray Houghton. Aldridge sprinting into the centre. Still Houghton, and it's going to come on to Barnes. Oh, he went for the clever, placed finish. There's hardly time to draw breath. Maybe a back pass will allow everyone to do so. Barnes. Clough. Still Forest carry the battle into the Liverpool half. Webb. Rice to Pearce. Foster's up again. Here's Webb. Wilson! Well, it was a decent enough strike, but it went straight into Grobbelaar's midriff. Three minutes left. 3 minutes between Liverpool and Wembley. Their supporters in the stand opposite already celebrating. Houghton, he's got Beardsley in the middle. Oh. Here's Ablett. Barnes just inside him. Oh, it's good stuff again from John Barnes. And he's pulled that one back for Beardsley, but Pearce arrived at the same moment. John Barnes and Peter Beardsley, whose combination play may have produced the goal which effectively wins this semi-final, and if they have, then it'll be one that will be enjoyed by supporters like this many, many times over and again when it's replayed. Again, Nigel Clough's layoff so assured. Chettle. And Crosby's onside. Wilkinson and Clough waiting in the middle. It's gone behind them both. And a bit of a let-off for Liverpool. McMahon's clearance only to Wilson. A minute left. Forest have possession with Pearce. Swung in again. And Ablett gets his head to it. What a climax. Wilkinson and Foster waiting. And Liverpool have pulled everybody except John Aldridge back. Forest have left 7 players forward. Pearce to Chettle. Liverpool fans whistling anxiously. Forest striving to force extra time. Forward by Chettle. Will it run on for Alan Hansen? A roar of relief from the Liverpool contingent. Barnes. They're so close now. Look at Phil Thompson and Kenny Dalglish. How much time will George Courtney allow for stoppages? Chettle, Clough, Barnes and Hansen. Well, they've seen it all before in one way, but he hasn't been in this position, and there'll be a few people who'll show some sympathy for Brian Clough and his young team if they lose, which they're within surely seconds of doing now. It's a compliment to them that they've stretched Liverpool nearly all the way. George Courtney is telling Liverpool that he's adding time on for these stoppages, and that may give Forest a chance. No, it won't. Liverpool are through to Wembley. Brian Clough is defeated, but Forest do themselves justice on a quite memorable day, especially for John Aldridge, whose fabulous goal after 52 minutes, the best move of the day, effectively won this semi-final. John Barnes may be the man of the match. And as Hillsborough celebrates, or the Liverpool fans do anyway, football too can look back on this match with pride. It was a splendid, stirring, sporting occasion. Liverpool know that the double is still on for the second time in 3 years. Kenny Dalglish takes his team to Wembley again, but only after quite a struggle against a Forest team who, even when they were 2-0 down, refused to give up. But in the end, Liverpool's experience overcomes Forest's freshness, and they go through to Wembley 2-1 winners after surely one of the best semi-finals since the war.
What a splendid match that was. Liverpool's class won it in the end, but Forest youngsters shook them rigid and dominated the game for considerable periods. Not many teams put Liverpool that much out of their stride, and Forest deserved the highest praise, as did John Barnes, whose form must have had Bobby Robson licking his lips. Well, it's worth playing again his part in Liverpool's second goal. As you saw, it was Beardsley who flicked him through there, but it's worth observing the look. It wasn't just a cross anywhere. There's the look, and a half-volley cross curving round beautifully out of the keeper's reach and straight on for Aldridge there to do the rest with jubilation.
What's it like to play in this Liverpool side?
Brilliant. Brilliant. There's a lot of movement and you get a lot of the ball, so there are no excuses as to, why if you don't produce the goods.
You say there's a lot of movement, a lot of skill, a lot of that comes from you.
Well, it's okay saying one person who moves, but I mean, if the rest of the team isn't moving, one person moving in is going to make that much difference. So I think it's the fact that the whole team moves and plays the ball and just play very simply.
Well, before we're accused of underrating Liverpool, let's leave the tribute to them to come from a very sporting but disappointed gentleman.
We feel fine. We give it our best shots. We were beaten by a better side.
There was a time when Liverpool were 2-0 up and they looked to have the game well in control and were giving your youngsters a bit of a run around.
We were worried they were going to go 3-0 up and 4-0 up, actually, but they didn't, and we got a goal and we made a match of it. It was a good match. I told Ronnie Moran at half-time we'd got a good match in our hands.
In fairness, I don't think this young man here, Gary Crosby, quite had the impact on this game that he did in your league match against Liverpool last Saturday.
In my opinion, I think he did. I think he was a constant threat to them. I think he was a constant worry to Liverpool. And next year, when he grows a wee bit and the dog stops picking him up, I think he'll be a lot better.
I do hope he makes it one day.